Alright, in this video I'm going to be taking a look at two bolt carrier group offerings from Spikes Tactical. One is their standard full auto M16 bolt carrier group in the phosphate finish, and the other is their bolt carrier group that is in nickel boron. The phosphate bolt carrier group part number is ST5BG01, and the part number for the nickel boron is ST5BG03. So I'm going to start with the phosphate, the black one, bolt carrier group. Obviously these are about as good as you're going to get for mil-spec bolt carrier groups. These are right on par with the other high-end lines, Colt and Bravo Company and such. The actual bolt carrier itself is 8620 tool steel. It has a shrouded firing pin, of course. The phosphate finish is it's coated inside and out. And it's coated to mil standard 171, and it's also chromed. The bore is chromed to mil standard 171 as well. The Spikes logos are engraved on the front of the bolt carrier groups. These logos are visible with the ejection door open. The carrier key is mil-spec tool steel. The carrier key also is mil standard 171 phosphate finish inside and out, and hard chromed on the inside. Carrier key is attached with grade 8 hardware and properly staked per mil-spec. Bolts are CNC machined from Carpenter number 158. Bolts are also phosphate finished inside and out to mil standard 171. All bolts are shot peened per mil spec, and all bolts are individually, that's a key word, all bolts are individually high pressure tested and then individually magnetic particle inspected. So they are HPT and MPI inspected individually, not a group inspection. They're individually inspected. You pay a premium for this. You pay a premium to get Carpenter 158 steel bolt carrier groups, bolts, and you pay a premium to have each bolt individually inspected. So something to keep in mind. This is normally what separates a $150 to $180 bolt carrier group from a $100 bolt carrier group. $100 bolt carrier groups are probably going to have an 8620 bolt, and the bolts are probably not going to be high pressure tested or magnetic particle inspected. Sometimes you can get those, but they're probably not individually inspected. They're probably done in batches. So let's say the manufacturer makes 100 bolts, and they might pull 2 or 3 out and inspect them. So they might say it's an MPI HPT bolt, but you got to dig a little deeper into that, art, to find out if each one is individually inspected. So some of the key things to look for. Let's see, the extractor is tool steel, is shot peened, phosphate finished to mil-spec standard 171. It's fitted with a mil-spec black extractor spring insert and a mil-spec Viton O-ring. Firing pin is mil standard 171 hard chrome finish. The cam pin is mil-spec, same thing. Phosphate finish, and the mil-spec firing pin retaining pin is mil standard 171 phosphate as well. So that's the phosphate bolt. Now the nickel boron is basically the exact same bolt carrier, except everything has been plated with nickel boron. So I'm trying to compose my words here. Nickel boron is supposedly the most durable finish on the market. It's smoother than hard chrome. It's easier to clean. Makes the cycling smoother. It can run lube free for thousands of rounds, and it will never chip, peel, or flake off. Nickel boron has been adopted by the military as well as many government agencies. And these bolt carrier groups for these spikes bolt carrier groups are nickel boron plated by Fail Zero. So Fail Zero, if you visit their website, they have a ton of information about their exo plating technology. They have done extensive tests firing these things with no lubricant. Supposedly DoD has tested these, SWAT teams and other tactical experts. UCT Defense, a division of UCT Coatings, and the U.S. Department of Defense have tested these bolt carrier groups, which include up to 50,000 lube-free rounds in an AR-15, 15,000 lube-free rounds on M9 pistols, 18,000 lube-free rounds on carbine rifles, and 23,000 lube-free rounds on machine guns. Now, if you look at other YouTube videos for Fail Zero nickel boron bolt carriers, you'll find other reviews. I think Steve Yeager has got a video on his channel where they had a 4-day class and he took a Fail Zero nickel boron plated bolt carrier group, gave it to one of his students who ran it in his gun, and that person shot 3,000 rounds over 4 days in a 4-day training class with no lube at all. I believe he cleaned the barrel and the chamber and wiped down the bolt carrier, or took it apart and wiped it down after 1,100 rounds. He didn't have any problems. Did another 1,500 rounds, no problems, no lube again. I think he had a couple of failure to feed issues, but I don't believe that was because of the bolt carrier group. So overall, he ended up doing about 3,000 rounds without any issues. So, I mean, that's a real world test right there that, you know, you can run this thing dry without any issues. Now, myself, I would still lube it myself, but lube or oil, grease will burn off or wear off after a period of time. So it's nice to know that if you're in a situation where you're firing a lot of rounds, you're not going to have an issue with the bolt carrier group if the lube wears out or burns off. So it's good to know. So I think that's all my printed talking points I had. The phosphate bolt carrier group, I've done a review on this before, so there's nothing really new here. These are solid. They are properly staked. Extremely reliable bolt carrier groups. I've used a lot of these. I've used a lot of the Bravo Company bolt carrier groups, and honestly, I don't have a preference for either one. I think both of them are the best ones on the market, in my opinion. That meet mil-spec standards. Now this, I've been waiting for one of these for quite a long time because of our past crisis with gun parts. These have been difficult to get, and I wanted a Spikes nickel boron bolt carrier group to go on my Spikes rifle, or my main rifle, that is. So I finally just got this in, taking it out. One thing you'll notice, the nickel borons say made in the USA on the side of them. The phosphate one does not say that, and it is, etched into there. So that is a little bit of a difference, is that. But you can see the Spikes logo is right there. It's kind of hard to make out on this kind of finish. And this finish, like I mentioned with the Spikes Tactical trigger groups and the ALG Act trigger group, it feels like it's got oil on it. It really does. It feels very smooth and very slick, like it's got a very thin sheet of oil on it, and it doesn't. There's no oil on this at all. That's the big advantage of the nickel boron plating. And we've got properly staked bolts, and I don't see anything else. Each bolt has HPT MPI stamped on it. Probably can't see it, but it's my camera probably won't focus on that, but it's right there. And that is on the phosphate one and the nickel boron. They both say that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this nickel boron bolt carrier group apart, and we're going to take a look at the components on it. Okay, got this disassembled. Just as Spikes claims, the inside and out is plated with nickel boron. The bolt is nickel boron inside and out. You can see I've removed the ejector. And incidentally, actually on the inside of the bolt and some other areas there actually is some oil. So when these are put together, they are lightly oiled on the inside. Not a lot of oil, but a little bit. And let's see if the camera probably is gonna not want to cooperate and focus on this. So excuse me if it's flying around in your view there. I'm trying to get the camera to focus on it. Anyway, the ejector is plated, and there is the black O-ring insert. Maybe it'll focus if it's way over here. Or maybe it'll focus if there's something else in the camera's field of vision. Yep. Anyway, there is the black O-ring on the ejector, and the cam pin is nickel boron plated, and of course the firing pin is a hard stainless steel, chrome stainless steel. Yeah, it's just straight stainless steel firing pin. So so far so good. I like what I see. I will be putting this one actually in my rifle, and I'll try and report back once I get a chance to go down to the range and fire it. So I've never used a nickel boron bolt carrier group in any of my rifles before, so this is a new experience for me. I've always used the standard phosphate coated bolt carrier groups. I've never had a problem, as long as they run them wet. I've only had problems when the oil burns off. So I also should note that the phosphate bolt carrier group ships in a plastic baggie, and the nickel boron ships in this plastic tube with these black rubber caps on the end of it. So it is protected a little bit better in this tube. So I don't have much else to add at this point, since this is more or less a tabletop comparison of the two. I don't see on this nickel boron, I don't see any flash or any excess material or any rough areas or areas where maybe the 8620 steel was not properly finished and then the plating was applied. Nothing like that. It's you know, perfect from what I can see. No issues with the bolts, no excess material. Obviously I like to take these apart and inspect them. I didn't actually take the ejector pin and the spring out because I don't have my specialized tool for that with me right now, so I didn't bother. Everything is the way I would expect to see it coming from Spikes Tactical, which is, you know, very high quality. I think, you know, right out of the package here, I think you're good to go. I mean, there is a liberal amount of oil on all these internal components as well, so you don't really even need to take it apart and oil it. And that's also the case with their Phosphate one too. Their Phosphate one comes with a light coating of oil on it as well. So anyway, that's my tabletop unboxing of the Spikes Tactical Bolt Carrier Group for the AR platform in 5.56 with the nickel boron plating.